Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment when we have to take a good, hard look at the life we are living and ask ourselves one simple question: is this the life I was meant for? Because life has a way of nudging us, whispering to us, and sometimes shaking us to our core, asking us to step up, to reach higher, to raise our standards. What does it mean to raise your standards? It means refusing to settle for mediocrity when excellence is within your reach. It means looking at the areas of your life where you've compromised, where you've accepted less than your worth, and deciding no more. Your standards set the tone for the life you live. They determine the quality of your relationships, the depth of your fulfillment, and the height of your success. And let me tell you something, raising your standards isn't about chasing perfection. No, it's about aligning your life with the greatness that already exists within you. It's about saying, I deserve better because I am better. Better choices, better habits, better boundaries. It's about showing the world how to treat you by how you treat yourself. You see, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our standards. If your standard is to get by, then that's all you'll ever do, get by. But when your standard is to thrive, to excel, to bring your best to every single day, then you unlock a power within you that nothing and no one can take away. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who inspire you. They didn't get there by lowering their standards to fit in or to make others comfortable. No, they elevated their lives by elevating their expectations of themselves. They decided that average wouldn't do, that excuses weren't welcome, and that their dreams deserved their full commitment. Now let's get personal for a moment. What are the areas in your life where you've been settling? Maybe it's in your work where you've been coasting instead of striving. Maybe it's in your health where you've been telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow, while tomorrow keeps slipping further away. Or maybe it's in your relationships where you've been accepting treatment that doesn't honor your worth. Today, I want you to draw a line in the sand. Say it with me: no more. No more shrinking to fit spaces you've outgrown. No more tolerating behaviors or situations that pull you down. No more waiting for the right time to become the person you know you're meant to be. Because here's the truth: the world doesn't change for people who settle. It changes for people who demand more from themselves and the world around them. It changes for people who raise their standards and refuse to back down. But let me warn you, raising your standards isn't easy. It means saying no when it's tempting to say yes. It means walking away from comfort zones and into the unknown. It means standing firm when others tell you you're asking for too much. Your standards set the tone for your life. If you want better, you must expect better from yourself. It all starts with what you're willing to accept and what you demand from yourself in every moment. Think about it: every decision you make, every action you take, and every boundary you set is a reflection of the standards you've established. When you expect better, you begin to live with intentionality. You're no longer making decisions based on convenience or fear, but from a place of purpose and conviction. Life has a way of meeting us at the level we meet ourselves. If you carry yourself like you deserve better, the world will take notice. It's not about arrogance or entitlement, it's about self-respect and self-belief. When you believe that you are worthy of more, you start to create a life that mirrors that belief. It's not just about wanting better, it's about expecting it, demanding it, and being relentless in your pursuit of it. When you shift your expectations, you shift your reality, you begin to attract opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with the higher standard you've set. This journey begins with a deep, honest reflection on where you are now. Ask yourself, what have I been accepting in my life that doesn't serve me? Where have I allowed my standards to slip? Maybe it's in your career where you've been settling for a role that doesn't challenge or inspire you. Maybe it's in your relationships where you've been accepting treatment that doesn't honor your worth. Or maybe it's in how you treat yourself, neglecting your health, ignoring your dreams, or silencing your voice. These are the areas where raising your standards can create the most profound change. Raising your standards isn't about achieving perfection, it's about progress. It's about taking an honest look at your habits, your mindset, and your choices and deciding to elevate them. It's about recognizing that you deserve more and that you are capable of more. This shift requires courage because it often means letting go of what feels familiar or comfortable. But comfort is not where growth happens. Growth happens when you dare to step outside your comfort zone and into the unknown where possibility lives. When you raise your standards, you begin to hold yourself accountable in a way you may never have before. You stop making excuses for why you can't, and you start finding reasons why you must. This accountability is empowering because it puts the power back in your hands. You stop waiting for someone else to save you or for circumstances to magically change. You realize that you have the power to create the life you want, but it starts with you. The beauty of raising your standards is that it creates a ripple effect in every area of your life. When you hold yourself to a higher standard, you naturally begin to attract people, opportunities, and experiences that align with that standard. Your relationships improve because you no longer tolerate disrespect or mediocrity. Your career flourishes because you demand more from yourself and take bold steps toward your goals. Your inner world transforms because you start to see yourself as someone who is worthy of success, happiness, and fulfillment. There is something incredibly powerful about setting the tone for your life. When you decide to raise your standards, you send a message to the world about who you are and what you stand for. You say, this is the level I operate at, and I will not settle for less. This doesn't mean that life will always be easy or that you won't face challenges, but it does mean that you'll face those challenges with a sense of purpose and determination because you know that you're building something greater. Raising your standards also requires consistency. It's not enough to set a high bar once and forget about it. You have to live it every day. This means showing up for yourself even when it's hard, even when you feel tired or discouraged. It means making choices that align with your higher standard, even when it's tempting to take the easier path. It's in these moments of consistency that true transformation happens. As you begin to expect more from yourself, you'll notice that your perspective shifts. Things that once seemed unattainable now feel within reach. Challenges that once intimidated you now feel like opportunities to grow. This is the power of expectation. When you expect better from yourself, you tap into a well of strength and resilience that you may not have realized you had. You become more willing to take risks, to push through fear, and to embrace the possibility of failure, knowing that every step forward is a step toward the life you deserve. This journey isn't just about achieving external success. It's about becoming the person you were meant to be. It's about stepping into your power and owning your worth. It's about recognizing that you are enough just as you are, but also knowing that you have the potential to be so much more. This duality is what makes raising your standards so powerful. It's a celebration of who you are and an invitation to step into who you're becoming. When you raise your standards, you give others permission to do the same. Your energy becomes contagious. People see your growth, your determination, and your confidence, and they're inspired to elevate their own lives. This is how you create a ripple effect of positivity and change. It's not just about improving your own life, it's about uplifting those around you. The journey to raising your standards is ongoing. It's not a destination you reach and then stop. It's a continuous process of growth, reflection, and elevation. Each time you reach a new level, you have the opportunity to raise the bar even higher. This is how you create a life of purpose, passion, and fulfillment, a life that reflects the highest version of yourself. The world rises to meet those who refuse to settle for less than they deserve. When you make the decision to stop settling, you begin a journey that will transform not only your life, but the lives of those around you. We all have dreams, desires, and ambitions, but the only way to bring them into reality is to refuse to accept anything less than what you know you are capable of achieving. When you set your sights on something higher, you create a magnetic force that draws opportunities, people, and situations into your life that are in alignment with the higher standard you've set. What does it mean to refuse to settle? It means refusing to tolerate situations, relationships, and circumstances that do not honor your worth. It means recognizing that you deserve more, and then boldly stepping into that truth with conviction. So often people settle because they feel it's the easiest way. They convince themselves that what they have is good enough or that what they want is unattainable. But when you choose to stop settling, you acknowledge that good enough is never enough. You realize that your life is worthy of greatness and that you can no longer afford to compromise on the dreams, goals, and values that define you. There is a transformative power in this decision. The world does not hand us what we deserve based on our wishes or hopes it meets us where we show up. And the energy we put out into the world is what comes back to us. When you settle, you signal to the universe that you don't believe in your own potential, that you don't think you deserve more. But when you decide to stop settling, you raise your expectations and the world responds accordingly. Opportunities that you once thought were out of reach begin to appear. The people you meet reflect your new standard, offering support, encouragement, and resources that align with your desires. But this decision doesn't come without its challenges. You see, when you start demanding more from yourself and the world around you, you'll be met with resistance. Some people may try to convince you that you're asking for too much, that you should be grateful for what you have. And while gratitude is important, it's also important to recognize that you are worthy of more than what you've been settling for. When you refuse to settle, you take ownership of your life and your future, and that's a powerful place to be. This journey begins with understanding that settling is a form of self-neglect. It's easy to fall into patterns of settling because it feels safe, because it's comfortable, and because we fear that stepping out of our comfort zone will bring discomfort or failure. But here's the truth: settling is the real failure. Settling is what keeps you from realizing your full potential. Settling is what keeps you in the same place year after year, without growth, without progress, and without the joy that comes from living a life true to your dreams. When you stop settling, you open the door to possibility. You begin to see that there is more out there for you, that you don't have to accept less than you deserve. This doesn't mean that life will instantly become perfect or that you won't face challenges. But what it does mean is that you'll approach those challenges from a place of strength, knowing that you are worthy of overcoming them and that you have the power to shape the direction of your life. Think about the people who inspire you, the ones who have made an impact on the world or who have created lives of fulfillment and joy. They didn't get to where they are by settling. They didn't let the opinions of others or their own doubts stop them from chasing their dreams. They knew what they wanted, and they refused to settle for anything less than that. They raised their expectations, not just for what the world could offer them, but for what they were willing to give themselves. And in doing so, they created lives of purpose, meaning, and success. When you refuse to settle, you show others that it's okay to aim higher, to dream bigger, and to expect more. Your decision to stop settling becomes a beacon of possibility for others. You create a ripple effect that extends far beyond your own life. People are inspired by your courage to step into your true potential, and they begin to see that they too can stop settling for less and start striving for more. But there's another important aspect of refusing to settle. You must be willing to let go of what no longer serves you. This might mean walking away from relationships, jobs, or environments that have become stagnant or toxic. It might mean cutting ties with people who drain your energy or who make you feel small. Refusing to settle requires that you embrace change even when it's uncomfortable. It means trusting that by letting go of what doesn't serve you, you make room for the new, for the better, for the life you've always dreamed of. Letting go isn't always easy, but it's essential. Holding on to what doesn't align with your higher standard keeps you stuck in a cycle of dissatisfaction. The longer you hold on to what isn't right for you, the longer you delay your growth, your success, and your happiness. When you choose to stop settling, you give yourself permission to let go of the things, people, and situations that are keeping you from becoming the person you were always meant to be. This decision also requires self-belief. You have to believe that you are worthy of more. You have to believe that you deserve the best that life has to offer. This belief isn't about being arrogant or demanding more than is fair. It's about recognizing that you are valuable, that your time is valuable, and that your life is worth living to its fullest potential. It's not always easy to make the decision to stop settling, especially when you've been conditioned to think that compromise is a virtue or that you should be happy with what you have. But there's a difference between being content and being complacent. Being content is about finding peace and joy in the present moment, while being complacent is about accepting less than you deserve. When you choose to stop settling, you are choosing to live with intention and purpose. You are choosing to honor your worth and to step into your power. The world rises to meet those who refuse to settle, because when you refuse to settle, you show the world the depth of your belief in yourself. You set the bar high and you refuse to lower it for anyone. And when you do that, you inspire others to do the same. This is how change happens. This is how lives are transformed. This is how dreams come true. When you stop settling, you open yourself to the infinite possibilities that are available to you, and you show the world that you are ready for more. Elevating your standards means aligning your life with the greatness that's already within you. We all have untapped potential, abilities, and dreams that are waiting to be realized, but the truth is that most of us never reach them because we're not operating at the level we're capable of. We settle for what's comfortable, what's familiar, what we believe we deserve, and in doing so, we limit our own potential. But when you make the decision to raise your standards, you're not just changing what you expect from the world, you're changing what you expect from yourself. When you elevate your standards, you make a promise to yourself that you will no longer accept mediocrity. This means taking a hard, honest look at the areas of your life where you've been settling and deciding that you are worthy of more. Maybe it's in your career where you've been playing it safe instead of stepping into the next level. Maybe it's in your personal life where you've been tolerating behaviors or habits that don't align with your highest potential. Or maybe it's in how you view yourself, accepting negative self-talk or a lack of self-worth. Whatever the area, elevating your standards requires that you shift your expectations and stop compromising on what you know you're capable of. Aligning your life with greatness means deciding that you're worthy of the best. It means believing that you are capable of achieving everything you desire and that you deserve to live a life of fulfillment, success, and happiness. But it also means recognizing that you have to put in the work. Raising your standards isn't just about wishing for a better life, it's about taking deliberate action toward creating that life. It's about setting clear goals, staying disciplined, and showing up every single day with the commitment to be your best. This alignment with greatness doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, a journey that requires patience, persistence, and self-awareness. It's about looking at the gaps between where you are and where you want to be and committing to closing them. The path toward elevating your standards is not always smooth or easy. There will be setbacks, challenges, and moments when you'll feel like giving up. But these are the moments when your standards will be tested. Will you stay committed to your higher self? Will you continue to push towards your goals even when the road is difficult? The answer to these questions lies in how much you truly believe in your own worth and in the greatness within you. When you elevate your standards, you start to act in ways that reflect the person you want to become. You make decisions that align with your highest goals and values, and you no longer settle for distractions, negative influences, or anything that pulls you away from your purpose. You become intentional with your time, your energy, and your focus because you know that these are the resources that will either propel you toward your dreams or hold you back. Living in alignment with greatness also means making choices that reflect your future, not just your present. So often we get caught up in short-term gratification, the immediate rewards that come from staying in our comfort zones. But when you elevate your standards, you start thinking long-term. You begin to recognize that the choices you make today will determine the kind of life you have tomorrow. If you choose to take shortcuts, to stay in relationships or situations that drain your energy, or to avoid doing the hard work, then you are choosing a life of stagnation. But when you choose to live with intention, when you choose to elevate your standards and operate at a higher level, you are choosing to create a life that reflects your greatest potential. As you raise your standards, you'll notice that things in your life begin to shift. Relationships that no longer serve you may fall away, and new, more aligned connections will take their place. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach may begin to present themselves because you're now operating at a level that's in alignment with your true potential. But these shifts can sometimes feel uncomfortable. Letting go of what's familiar can be difficult, especially when you've been holding on to it out of fear or insecurity. But this is where true growth happens, when you let go of what no longer serves you and make space for the new, the better, and the more aligned with who you are becoming. The process of elevating your standards also involves taking radical responsibility for your life. This means taking full ownership of the choices you make, the circumstances you create, and the mindset you adopt. No longer can you blame others or external factors for where you are in life. When you raise your standards, you acknowledge that you are the creator of your own reality. Your success, happiness, and fulfillment are all directly tied to the choices you make and the actions you take. It also means challenging the limiting beliefs that have been holding you back. So many of us have internalized stories of inadequacy, fear, and doubt. We tell ourselves that we're not good enough, that we don't deserve the success we want, or that we're too old, too young, or too inexperienced to achieve our goals. But these beliefs are just stories we've been telling ourselves for far too long. When you elevate your standards, you begin to question these beliefs and replace them with empowering thoughts. You recognize that your worth is not defined by your past mistakes, your current circumstances, or the opinions of others. Your worth is inherent. It's unshakable. And when you align your life with that truth, you begin to show up in the world as the person you were always meant to be. Aligning with greatness also means learning to trust yourself, trusting that you have the ability to navigate the challenges that will inevitably arise. Trusting that you are capable of handling whatever life throws your way and that you have the resilience to keep going no matter how tough it gets. It means trusting that your intuition will guide you in the right direction and that when you make decisions in alignment with your highest self, you will always be on the right path. When you elevate your standards, you no longer allow the fear of failure to hold you back. Instead, you see failure as a stepping stone, a necessary part of the process. Every setback, every mistake, every moment of doubt becomes an opportunity to learn and grow. When you stop fearing failure and instead embrace it as part of the journey, you free yourself from the shackles of self-doubt and start to move forward with courage and confidence. Ultimately, elevating your standards is a declaration of self-love. It's a way of saying, I believe in myself, I am worthy of the best, and I am committed to living a life that reflects my highest potential. It's a decision to honor your own greatness, to step into the fullness of who you are, and to create a life that's in alignment with your truest self. When you make this commitment, the world can't help but rise to meet you, because you've already decided that you are worthy of the very best it has to offer. Raising your standards is not just a choice, it's a commitment to yourself, a promise that you will no longer settle for less than what you know you are worthy of. It means looking at every area of your life with fresh eyes, deciding that you will no longer tolerate anything that doesn't serve your higher self, and making the conscious decision to raise the bar for what you accept. We all have within us an incredible potential to achieve greatness, but most of us never fully tap into that potential because we allow ourselves to live beneath our true capabilities. We accept mediocrity, we settle for less than we deserve, and we believe the narrative that what we have right now is enough. But when you make the bold decision to raise your standards, you change everything about how you show up in the world and what the world reflects back to you. The moment you decide that your life is worthy of greatness, everything shifts. You begin to see yourself through a new lens, one that acknowledges your worth, your abilities, and your potential. You stop tolerating situations, relationships, and environments that are not in alignment with the life you want to live. Instead of accepting what comes your way, you start actively choosing what serves your highest good. Raising your standards doesn't mean you expect perfection, but it does mean that you refuse to settle for anything less than the best for you. Raising your standards begins with a deep understanding of your own worth. Many of us have been conditioned to think small, to minimize our dreams, and to make ourselves small in the eyes of others. We've been taught to believe that we don't deserve much more than what we have, and that striving for more is selfish or unrealistic. But the truth is, you are worthy of everything you desire. You have the right to aim high, to dream big, and to expect great things in your life. When you raise your standards, you step into your own power. You start to see that you deserve more than what you've been accepting, and you begin to take the necessary steps to claim that life. It's also important to recognize that raising your standards is a reflection of your self-love. When you love yourself enough to demand more from your life, you show the world that you believe in your own worth. You no longer tolerate disrespect. You no longer accept situations that don't nurture your growth. And you no longer settle for relationships that drain your energy or hold you back. Self-love is the foundation of elevated standards. You have to show up with the confidence, the discipline, and the work ethic that aligns with the next level of success you want to achieve. If you want to raise your standards in your personal relationships, you have to start setting boundaries and demanding the respect and love you deserve. Raising your standards is about embodying the life you want to create, not just wishing for it. One of the most powerful shifts that happens when you raise your standards is that you begin to see opportunities everywhere. The moment you stop settling is the moment you open yourself up to the vast possibilities that are waiting for you. The world begins to reflect the new standard you've set for yourself. When you raise your standards, you create a magnetic force that draws opportunities, people, and circumstances into your life that are in alignment with your new level. It's as if the universe begins to conspire in your favor, bringing the people, resources, and situations that will help you elevate even further. But this shift only happens when you fully commit to not accepting anything less than what you are truly capable of. However, the journey of raising your standards is not without its challenges. There will be times when you'll face resistance and when the world will try to pull you back into old patterns. You may encounter doubts and fears that tell you you're asking for too much, that you should be grateful for what you have, or that you're being too demanding. But these are just the old voices in your head, the ones that are tied to your past and your limitations. When you decide to raise your standards, you must learn to silence those voices and trust in your worth. You have to believe that what you want is not only possible, but that it's your birthright. The resistance you face is simply a sign that you are breaking free from old patterns and stepping into a new, higher version of yourself. It's also important to understand that raising your standards doesn't mean that you will always get everything you want right away. The process is gradual, and it requires patience. There will be moments when you feel like nothing is happening or when you're not seeing immediate results. But every small decision you make to align with your higher standards is a step in the right direction. The consistency of your actions day after day will begin to compound, and over time you will start to see the life you've been working toward. The key is to stay committed to the process, even when things seem slow or difficult. Trust that your efforts are building a foundation for the life you want. Raising your standards also requires you to evaluate the relationships in your life. Are the people around you lifting you up or holding you back? Are they encouraging your growth, or are they reinforcing your fears and limitations? When you raise your standards, you must surround yourself with people who support your vision and who encourage you to step into your greatness. Sometimes this means letting go of toxic relationships or distancing yourself from people who do not align with your higher goals. Letting go is never easy, but it is necessary if you want to create a life that reflects your elevated standards. You must also be willing to get uncomfortable. Raising your standards requires stepping into the unknown, pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, and confronting the fear that comes with change. It's easy to stay in situations that feel safe or familiar, but growth only happens when we push ourselves into new, uncomfortable spaces. When you raise your standards, you are choosing to step into the discomfort of growth, knowing that it is through these experiences that you will become the person you were always meant to be. As you raise your standards, you will begin to feel a sense of empowerment that comes from living in alignment with your true self. You'll feel more confident, more energized, and more excited about life because you are no longer settling for less than what you deserve. Your life will reflect the truth of who you are, and every decision you make will be a step toward the highest version of yourself. When you raise your standards, you begin to live a life that is authentic, fulfilling, and deeply aligned with your purpose. And in doing so, you inspire others to do the same. You become a living example of what is possible when you choose to live with intention and raise your standards to match the greatness within you.